I'm going to take as little time as possible because I want everyone to have as much time as possible with my amazing mentor and dear friend, Dr. Alice Hammel, who is the expert on everything music education and disabilities. So, yay, Alice!
Thank you. Hi, raise your hand if we're already friends. Fantastic. Hello again, second day in a row. It's a thing. All right. So what I want to talk about today is the use of labels for everything. So let's start with just thinking about labels when we're lifing. So we're lifing, we're growing up, we're going to school, we're walking down the street, we see somebody coming the other way. We don't know them. So we don't make eye contact or anything, that'd be weird. But we notice them, we clock them, we label them by the time we pass them. It's not necessarily a bad thing, it's a biological thing. So as we developed, we needed to know, is this a friend or is this a foe? Which way do I go when I see this? So it's just kind of part of that whole taxonomy. What are some labels? So let's say you're just walking around this gorgeous campus and you pass somebody. What do you notice about them? What are some physical characteristics that you notice? Yes?
I usually notice their apparent hurry. Like, are they lazily walking or are they late?
Oh, does somebody spend too long at Starbucks or what's up? Right, okay, that's a good one, yes. Are they in a hurry? What's another thing you notice? Yes?
Or genders.
Their gender, okay, or their outward gender expression, yes. What else do we notice?
I look at what they're wearing a lot.
Same.
Like a judgmental way. It's kind of like, oh, they got that on.
What are they wearing? And what does what you're wearing say about you? What can you learn about somebody on campus through what they are wearing? Hi. So, for example, what if somebody is dressed like a sports ball person?
I'm going to practice.
What'd you say?
Probably going to practice.
Yeah. Okay, so going to practice. And so if they're a sports ball person, what kind of label would we attach to them?
Jock.
Yeah, okay. And then what if, let's see, what other kinds of things? Like, but could clothing? Yes?
What kind of like school bag they use?
Oh, tell me about these school
So like if
bags.
they use a backpack or like a rolly bag
Mm.
or a tote bag.
And what does that tell us about a person?
Maybe what I think about with my various bags, are they a commuter student?
Oh, okay. Are they commuter? Do they live here? How about, are they an undergraduate or are they a graduate student? What might their major be? Are they carrying an instrument? Okay, yes?
I was thinking also like if they're dressed down or if they're dressed more professionally, because usually like if someone's dressed more professionally, you can be like, oh, maybe they had work, maybe they had a presentation, or maybe they're a grad student who's a TA who teaches class, like stuff like that.
Brilliant, yes. What else do we notice? You haven't talked about a lot of the physical characteristics that we notice when we see people. Nerissa?
Thinking about clothes, like brands and like how expensive
Mm.
clothes would be, or if things are, wrinkled or have holes in them, could like
Yeah.
unpack layers of
Okay,
maybe.
so if somebody's wearing wrinkled, holey clothing, what do we think? When we're labeling and nobody's going to see what's in our head, what do we think? Yes?
They're broke.
They broke. You win. Yep. Okay, so we think about financial status. We think about, are they serious about their academics? We think about, there's all kinds of things. Y'all, we judge. You know we do. Nobody knows. It's all in our head. I know you judge. You know I judge. So let's just get real here. All right, what else? What other kind of labels? Yes?
Age.
Age. Yes. Like that is one old lady walking across that campus. How old is she? Right? Okay. Yeah.
Your facial
Facial expressions, and this takes us back to that biological component, right? Is this a person I should be afraid of? Is this a person who's approachable, right? Are they angry? Yes, very nice. 10 points to Gryffindor, all right? What else? Do we notice race? Yeah, we clock race. Ethnicity? Yes. Can we sometimes determine perhaps a faith that a person follows by what we see? Okay. So we notice height, we notice weight, and we put that all in our shoe boxes. I think of them as like little Barbie shoe boxes, you know? Hey Barbie, let's go party. And they're all in our heads, right? So we put the person, stop it, Dr. Brill. So we put them in our brains like, here's my little box with everybody else that I've noticed who I've labeled the same way. And here's my next box, and here's my next box. And we label, and we continue to label. And when we label, and then we put things in little boxes, that leads us to sometimes make assumptions. Right? How do we assume if someone is really big into a fraternity or a sorority? What might we see? Yes?
The color they're wearing, or a specific symbol or something?
Yes, absolutely. Again, yes, brilliant. Another way? Yes?
Like hazing practices,
Ah,
like they may be dressed in a silly, funny way.
mm-hmm. Yep. How do we know you're a music major?
Instrument.
Instrument. What's another way we can know you're a music major? Yes?
Frost merch.
Frost merch, absolutely. Yes? How else? How do you recognize? Yes?
The ever-present cup of coffee.
I didn't, I'm sorry, I can't.
The ever-present cup of coffee.
Yes, the cup of coffee, because music is the most difficult major, which is why we do it. All right, hi.
I feel like music majors tend to dress more like themselves. I don't know what it is, but like, it has their own style. It's like if you walk into a business school, it's like all leggings and like, I don't know. That's just what I think.
That makes me really happy and curious at the same time, yes. Right, because we know that we're with our people and we can be who we are and we don't need to fit into a mold. Maybe that's why I went into music. So many things I have to think about when class is over, right? So we label, we do, it's part of biology, we do, and we judge, and we try not to, we do. All right, so let's take that into schools. Teachers. So some of you just have to think back a little bit to high school. Some of you have to think back a little further to high school. And I went to high school with the dinosaurs, so I can help you out there. Teachers, when they're trashing their students, because bad teachers do that. No such thing as a bad student. Does not exist. Bad teachers, like the ones that hang out in the faculty lounge and stuff. What do they say? What are some things they say about students? Some labels they throw around. Yes?
He's quiet.
Quiet. Oh, you're so nice. That's nice. That's a nice one. What's another way to say it?
He doesn't pay attention.
Very nice.
Yes, right? Yeah. Okay, yes.
The kid is annoying.
Annoying, yes. I mean, they will just say it when they're there with other teachers in that toxic environment. Do not ever go to the faculty lounge. I will find you. I will know. All right? What else do teachers say?
I got this one a lot. It's stupid.
That word. Yes. The S word is used. Yes. Uh-huh.
Talking about the students' parents.
What are we going to say about their parents?
Like, this mom won't stop emailing me and calling me, and or this dad won't answer my emails. Like, getting into people's personal business.
Right, and then making judgments about it,
Yeah.
right? He doesn't answer the email because, and then it's some pejorative thing, right? Rather than this family's trying to do everything they can to just stay in their apartment. Yeah, just not really understanding all the factors at play. Yes, absolutely, brilliant. Yeah.
Like
like whether or not a student seems motivated or if they're like lazy, quote unquote?
Oh, the L word. Yeah. Okay, here's my current idea on the L word. I'm still workshopping this. I think it doesn't exist. I think it's a construct. I think everybody is doing their very best every day. It just looks different every day. Some days, there are people who could create an entire platform for a streaming system. Not me, but somebody could create an entire platform for a streaming system. Another day, their best is opening their computer and binge watching on that streaming service. They're doing their very best both days. So you have days and have had days when you are doing your very best, and then somebody might use that horrible L word on you. Now, you're here. Look at you. You're here. This is your best today. Another day, the best might even be something more fantastic. Or there are days when you just literally cannot. And on those days, you're also doing your best. I think we need to just kind of let ourselves off the hook a little bit. So that's my speech on the L word and my idea. So you let me know what you think of my construct. Okay. I've done no research. I'm just making this up. All right. Anybody else? Labels teachers use? Bad. Disrespectful.
Dirty.
Ah, yes. Classism. All right. Now, what are some disability labels that teachers throw around, whether or not the students have been labeled with that label?
They've got issues.
Ooh, issues. Yes, the forever generic term. Yes?
They're slow.
Oh, they're slow. Mm-hmm. Okay. What else? Can you give me an actual label?
Dyslexic.
Right. And they may not even be, right? Like, what is he dyslexic? Oh, I can't even say it. Sorry. Yeah. Uh-huh. And then how about attention? A student's having a difficulty paying attention? Yeah, right? He's so blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then teachers say these things about themselves sometimes. All right, let me tell you how to do this. This is one of the most fun things I do, okay? Somebody will go, oh, I'm so OCD today. I say, oh my goodness, I wasn't aware that you'd been diagnosed with an obsessive compulsive disorder. Please let me know if I can ever do anything to assist you. Mischief managed, right? Because no, you don't get to throw around labels you don't even have. Why are you doing that? So that's how you neutralize that. And smile. And Glinda. And walk away. You can be mean and not be mean at the same time. So, yeah. So I don't know why teachers do that. They label kids. They label themselves. And then there's labels. So the government has decided that there are 13 that matter. I find that hilarious. There are over 1,000 disabilities that just have to do with chromosomal differences. I don't see them on the list. What's the one label that has to do with chromosomes that we talk about a lot?
Down syndrome.
Mm-hmm. They prefer trisomy 21, but it's fine. But, oh no, I'm playing, it's fine. There are so many chromosomal differences. So if you have another difference that is not one that the government pays attention to and that teachers don't talk about feeling othered. There are so many disabilities that are not in that neat little list. I don't like labels. I'm the daughter of 2 pediatricians who did not believe in childcare. I grew up in Sebring, Florida. Anybody know where that is? Yeah, okay. You don't need to. A little north of Lake Okeechobee. So my parents were the only pediatricians in that part of the state who would take children who were on Medicaid. So people would drive hours to come see my parents because they were the only people who would do that. So because there was no childcare, guess where I was all the time? So I would see all these students and I got very interested. My high chair was literally the DSM-1. So when people say, well, how long have you been in this field? I'm like, 60 years and 10 months, because I was literally born into the medical model. So maybe it was my rebellion, or maybe I just don't like labels, or maybe I just realized that labels can be used in harmful ways. They can be used in very positive, proactive ways. They can also be harmful. So I don't know, sometime in the early 2000s, I got asked to write a book for Oxford University Press. In the first place, I was like, you know, I'm from Sebring. What? So I said, well, okay, if you think I can write a book, I don't think I can write a book, but all right. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna write a book and I'm gonna have no labels. Yeah, what's up with that? So I spent like a week and I was like, oh, I have to have some kind of order to this book. I have to have some way to organize it. So I was like, okay, how can I organize this book and still continue my rebellion of not using labels? So I said, huh. So I thought about this heuristic. I thought, what if I organize things instead of listing those 13 pageant winners, right, that are in the law and ignoring everything else? What if I thought about things that music teachers actually see in their students? Because, fun fact, when you look at an IEP or a 504 plan, they often do not even list the disability. So you did all that work, right? You learned about all 13 of them. And then it's not even, what are you going to do? I mean, you can't call Ghostbusters. What are you going to do? So I said, okay, so these are things that teachers can actually see when a student comes and when they work with the student. Cognition, communication, behavior, emotional, sensory, and physical. I said, yeah, I can deal with that. I can do that. Also, is there anything on that list that looks pejorative? Anything that's negative? Anything like communication can be a good thing, communication can be a different thing, cognition can be all over the place? No. No. Because every one of us can have times in our lives, days in our life, hours in our life, when we think, okay, yeah, this is not working. Which domain? Yeah, I'm having trouble in this domain right now. Or, I am rocking it in this domain at this moment. I was particularly proud of my communication skills yesterday when I taught, right? Went back to my Airbnb and I was like, yeah. So, in what domain did you excel today, Alice? I think I did pretty well in communication. All right. Pat yourself on your back. Okay. So, we all live within these 6 domains. They're not disabilities. They're not something that can be negative, right? And so far, not something a teacher can slam in a teacher room. Maybe one day, but I hope not. All right, so when we think about that, think of cognition. Cognition is our ability to receive information, to process it, and commit it to memory. So we received the information that we needed to be here at 1:25. We processed that. We figured out, okay, what room is it in? Okay, it was easier for you because I think you've done this before, but for me it was a whole thing, right? And then we committed to memory. Some of you only had to do this once. Congratulations. Some of you had to do it a few times. I've asked Nerissa, I don't know how many times. Cognition, right? It's on that bell curve, that science-y thing. Okay, so most of us, and actually the happiest people in the world, are in the middle of that bell curve. And then there are people whose cognition runs a little slower. Cognition is similar to RAM speed in a computer, okay? So and that's fine, they just need a little longer. And then some people's cognition moves quickly. Some people are like magic quickly. Fun fact, the faster your cognition is, the more likely it is that you also have a disability. Because different is different. You can be profoundly gifted and have disabilities. Make sense? Okay, called twice exceptional. One of my favorite things to talk about. but not today. Okay, so in the middle, right? Most of us, very happy. And then there are people whose IQ is a little slower. Now, did these people earn their IQ? No, okay. Did these people earn their IQ? Oh. Well, then why did they get all the trophies and the stickers and the certificates and all the end of the year blah-de-blah-de-blah? Okay. If your brain just moves faster, and so you want all that, did you earn it? Ooh, tough question, especially for this crowd, because you're all brilliant. Did you earn it? If you started on third base and another kid started, I don't know, wherever you swing the thing at the ball. All right, did you earn it? I have never seen a bumper sticker that says, my child uses special education at blah-de-blah high school. Why? You get the brain you get at the brain factory, okay? So when your body's being made at the brain factory, it's just sliding down this, what's that thing called? It's like an airport where you just stand on it. A conveyor, yeah. So your body's going down there, and then there's a brain pudding person, and they just go, oh, brain in. Next, brain in. You did not earn your brain. You did not earn your cognition. You get what you get, and you don't pitch fit. And yet, we celebrate this. And oh, stop it. Your brain's your brain, right? So cognition. So you notice that, come on, right? Okay. So when I'm teaching students and I'm thinking about their cognition, right, I observe them in other settings. And this is anywhere along the fancy bell curve. And then I think about myself, because as I said, there are no bad students. It's us, it's our fault, it's all our fault. And the sooner you just go ahead and know that, the happier you'll be as a teacher. Because every day as a teacher, here's the number one thing you need to do. Make different mistakes. Okay? All right, I have 25 years in the public schools, right? The rest doing these things that I'm doing, and at the college level, and I have never, ever taught a day perfectly. And I never will. And you won't either. So let yourself off the hook. The best we can do is make different mistakes the next day. Right, Dr. Brill? We just gonna, right? I'm gonna try not to do that one again. And then the next day you're like, oh man, like I've made like 6 already today and I've only done that class in this one. All right, so then we think about ways. How can we make the cognitive process easier for a student? Anywhere along the bell curve, because we have to think about these kids too. Some of these students are the most at risk in our schools. So yesterday, my friends from yesterday morning, remember we talked about winding it forward? It's really, really, really important. Okay. And then being part of a team. Sometimes when your room is at the very end of the hallway or the school and you're all by yourself, you get an attitude, go find people. Go be part of it, right? So sometimes I have students perform what they can, what is meaningful to them, what is real, and I'm not just putting on a show and faking things with a kid. Think about your kid, think about who they are, and the most important thing I think is think about who you want and who you want to be, how you want that kid to remember you, and how would you want to be taught if you were that kid. Generally fixes it. If I put myself in the kid's place, I'm like, yep, and then I know what to do, okay? Communication. Communication is the next step, right? So we've received information, we processed it, we commit it to memory, and then communication is how we let other people know that we know that we know. 2 most important parts are receptive language and expressive language. Expressive language is how we let people know what we know what we know. Receptive language is what we know, and we also know that. Fun fact, everyone in here, everyone in the entire world has a higher level of receptive language than expressive language. So that means our one of us is smarter than anyone can ever know. Take a moment. No one will ever know how brilliant you are. It's clearly and literally not able to be expressed. Okay. Some of us know a lot more than we can express. Some of us know a little bit more than we can express. But we do know more. So For example, when you are growing a being, they are already gaining receptive language. They're listening, they're learning. And then later, there's expressive language. When you have a student come into your music classroom / ensemble / whatever, please do not make assumptions about expressive language and receptive language, because that student may know more about music than you do. And it's your job to figure out how much they know and get that expressive language. Please don't ever assume because a student looks a certain way, because the media has taught us, right, to think a certain way about people who look a certain way. They're probably smarter than I am. They probably know way more than I do about music. So I say that freely. So cognitive functioning comes into play. And then cultural use of language. Our country is beautiful in its diversity. And sometimes we make communication assumptions when we're really forgetting the culture, right? Where is the student from? What is their neighborhood? What is their family like? What is their home like? What is their culture like? And then we tend to sometimes make jumps and leaps regarding behavior, communication, sensory, all of those things. No. So think about that, because you're going to teach in an even more diverse world than we have now. So we learned about that. Okay. Simple, clear instructions, right? Sometimes individual instructions for a specific group. Some students may need you to communicate in a different way. So by learning how they communicate best, how their receptive language works best, then you can provide opportunities for the expressive language. And that's part of the fun, the science / art of teaching. Okay. Establishing communication channels with people who may have differences in communication is really important. If I had an hour and a half, I'd tell you the story about the girl with the orange shirt who showed up to the concert when everybody was wearing their blue shirts. That was my kid. But anyway, so sometimes you really have to communicate more than you think you do to make sure everybody knows what's happening. And I end that story, which is like 5 minutes long, by saying, you don't want to be the girl in the orange shirt. Okay, she's fine, by the way. Okay, all right. Okay, so emotional and behavioral challenges. I could not figure out a way to separate the emotional domain from the legal definition of emotional, and they still use that negative word that I don't use. I don't say it. Okay, so when people are struggling with their emotions, emotions are on the inside, emotions are what we feel, behaviors are on the outside. Behaviors are what we do. So that's how you know the difference. Is it an emotion or is it a behavior? Okay, so an inability to learn that can't be explained by intellectual, sensory, or health factors, right? So we do a case study, we go through all of this testing, find everything's fine, we don't understand. This student seems to not be able to develop or maintain interpersonal relationships with peers or teachers. The student sometimes exhibits inappropriate behavior. So at that point I think, okay, fancy law, what is inappropriate and what's normal? But they haven't asked me yet. I keep looking at my phone. I'm like, are they going to text me? They have not. Anyway, general mood of pervasive mood of unhappiness, right? We have a lot of kids in our schools that are feeling a lot of depression and anxiety, and it is pervasive. And a tendency to develop physical symptoms. If a kid tells you their tummy hurts and they want to go to the nurse, let them go to the nurse. Let them go to the nurse. If somebody tells you to ignore how you feel, how does that make you feel?
Bad.
Yeah, and it invalidates who you are. Let them go to the nurse. It's fine. It's fine. Be that person. That's okay. And if you do that, they'll be like, oh, I like that teacher. And then maybe they won't have a tummy ache in your class next time. So when thinking about students, we think about, is there an antecedent to what happens? So if something happens, right? Sometimes we know what caused this student to feel, right, or behave in a certain way. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes when a student has something happen in the classroom, it could be something that happened like 3 weeks ago. But just now at this moment. And then good teachers, which is you, think, okay, I'd like to know what happened. And you can do a little, like what might have happened. Sometimes you might not find out, sometimes you might. One time I had a thing, and I found out it was because they ran out of chocolate milk in the cafeteria. This kid only wanted chocolate milk. Kid didn't say anything, was fine, went through most of the day. I had the class last period of the day. Oh, wow. Did some researching, found out no chocolate milk. Put chocolate milk in my mini fridge in case that ever happened again. Yeah? Be the teacher with the chocolate milk. All right. I have very clear outlines for rehearsals and for classes. They are often very similar. Students really like structure. They like to know what's going to happen. So anybody feel like they're like chaotic, evil, chaotic, neutral, chaotic, good, chaotic in any way? Yeah, I'm chaotic, good. Yeah. So we have to make sure, oh, it's okay, me too. So we have to make sure that although we really don't want to work on the system, and we really don't want to have all that, we've got to make sure that our rehearsal schedules and our classroom schedules are very similar. The students know what to expect. When there's going to be a change, we let them know ahead of time because we have to prepare. Many people who are neurodivergent, including me, have difficulty with change. When something happens like right now and it's different, I got to go, okay. Because it just takes you a second. Like, okay, this is different. What's going to happen? Concerts, festival, assessment, special trips, all of those things. We need to think ahead. And we have all had teachers who did not think ahead, correct? So tell me, how did it feel when you had a teacher who did not think ahead and then all of a sudden you had this stressful thing? Yes?
It's frustrating.
It was frustrating. So what did you do?
I usually quietly and passive aggressively submitted the work early so that you can see.
Oh, so you passive aggressively what? I love passive aggressive.
I submitted the work earlier, just like before they came out with their plan, so that it was obvious.
Excellent flex. All right. Okay. Anybody else when a teacher does that? Yes.
Email and ask for many clarifications as much as you need, even if that's like a regular thing.
Respect. Yeah. Any other responses to those? Yes.
If it's like during class, I'd ask if we could leave. And like, oh, like, we don't know what's happening for the rest of the class.
Right. Or my tummy hurts, I need to go to the nurse. Yeah. My tummy hurt a lot in school. Okay. And I also am really careful to praise appropriate behavior. I ignore inappropriate behavior as much as I need to, unless it's a safety issue. So sometimes students are doing it because they're trying to connect with you, and that's great. I wait until they try to connect with me in a way that's appropriate. And then I'm like, absolutely. And then they're like, oh, okay, so if I'm gonna get her attention, I gotta do, without even saying anything. Yeah. Positive reinforcement, earning privileges. Do you know what clipping down is? Yeah, tell me about clipping down.
I used to do it a lot. We had behavior charts, and if you were doing bad, your clip went from green to yellow to red.
And did you know
You
there's
did not want to be in the red.
there's below red too? Yeah.
I didn't touch all that.
Yeah,
Just red.
right. Oh, my oldest daughter's bear left the cave one day in kindergarten. She's about to turn 32. She is not over it. all right? Because she's that kid. She had to win all the things. Like, my bear left the cave. And I'm trying not to laugh. This is serious, okay? Like, do you know how many times mommy's bear left the cave, the forest, the country? You know, it's fine. So if a kid earns something, let them keep it. They maybe don't earn any more points, but you shouldn't lose what you already earned. And teachers who do that just destroys the trust with students. So if you go to a school and they use those clippy things, everybody's green, yay! You know, just leave it. Use your system, which is almost always positive. Yeses and yes, and this is specifically what I like about it, and this is fantastic, and this is great, and no, we're not going to do that. And then we move on to this and this and this. Okay? All right. Introversion, raise your hand if you identify as an introvert. Samesies. When I'm done with one of these days, I'm exhausted. Yeah, some people try to label that. We're not a label, we're a different system. We're a different operating system. It's like PC and Mac. Okay, we're fine. We're just different. All right. So, sensory system. When you were in first grade, you learned your 5 senses, and they are what?
Taste.
Hearing.
We see, we hear, we taste, we touch, we smell, right? And you all got an A on the test because you're here in college, so congratulations. And they lied. I have this whole keynote I do, and it's like what they didn't teach you in first grade. So, because there's really more senses than 5, silly teachers. But they wouldn't fit on the bubble sheet. Bias? Yes. Okay, so vestibular, proprioceptive are 2 important senses to know about. Vestibular is your body and where it goes, and do you know where it is and what's up? And can you spin and spin and spin and go on all these roller coasters and not throw up? Or do you stand and hold everybody's jackets? I stand and hold everybody's jackets. Yeah. And that's a real thing. So you have kids that do things and they go, I'm dizzy. Or they just get completely overstimulated by things like that. They're not being naughty. It's not naughty. It's sensory. I have no research, I have no data, I have no nothing. But I'm just going to throw out a percentage because it sounds fancy, but I've nothing. 85% of things that we call behaviors are sensory. Things start out as a sensory response, right? Let's hold hands and make a circle. Oh, he's squeezing my hand too hard. No, I'm not, I'm barely touching it. Hypersensitive, hyposensitive. If we make a big deal out of it, then we created a behavior. It was just a sensory difference. So think about sensory before you go, as Monty Python would say, leaping and jumping to behavior. Proprioceptive. Proprioceptive has to do with weight and motion and what our body likes. Some people like to sit very close to other people. They're comfortable that way. They prefer that way. Other people do not. So when you go into a room, watch what people do. Some people will put their chair close. Some people will pull their chair back. Normalize that that's okay. I have had band directors who literally take their tape measures. And I am a recovering band director myself. It's a 12-step process. I'm not quite done. Anyway, so the tape between, right, each chair, because it has to be the same. Every chair has to be the same. You know, and especially if we're going to go play for judges. Then, how about the space between the rows? They have to be the same. Because that's what's really important. Y'all. That's not what's really important. What's really important is every student in the ensemble, that they feel comfortable and ready to perform. Don't use a tape measure. Don't be the tape measure person. Like kids, you know, if they need to scooch their chair a little bit, like, I mean, it's not like they're on a different plane, right? They're just a little bit. Move it. So, proprioception. Proprioception is, do you like tight hugs? Or can you just wave to somebody across the room and you're fine? Okay. Those are fun things to think about. Oh, communication, examiner, blah, blah, blah. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to keep going. Nerissa, Dr. O'Brill, somebody has these as PDFs that you will all get so that you can read the blah, blah. Oh, that's a pretty sound. I like that ringtone. Oh, there's some sorries. We're all doing our very best every day, remember?
Silenced the phone, but forgot to silence my watch.
Oh, yeah. I didn't silence myself, so, you know. All right. So, physical and medical conditions. Some are temporary and some are permanent. So, for example, if you have a student and they have cancer, most often that is temporary. And they will need a 504 plan. 504 plans are used so that school is fair for you. Okay? The language they call it, they say leveling the playing field. Right? So you need these accommodations to make school fair for you. That's a 504. Then you have permanent. So like an autoimmune disorder is permanent. Once you get it, you got it. You ain't getting rid of it. And they also cluster, so you'll have more. Congratulations. All right, so there's all kinds of temporary or permanent physical or medical differences. So we've got IEPs, 504s. Do we have GIPs in Florida? Are there gifted plans?
Yes.
Yes, right? Because we're not going to forget this end of the bell curve, right? Never again. Nope. Nope. It's not a trophy. It's what got put in your brain. Okay. Students will not always tell you when they're exhausted and they can't run the show one more time. They can't march from here to the stadium and then do all the other things. We have to watch our students and know them, and without othering them, say, oh, hey, you know, I really need somebody to do something that is not marching to the stadium, right? Because they won't tell you they're tired because they love you. If you do your job right, they love you, right? So thinking about that, because nobody wants to be that student that's exhausted or in pain and then is different. Remember when you didn't want to be different, right? When you didn't want to have your own sense of style and clothing, right? There was that time. So put yourself there and think about it. When God, the last most horrible thing in the world was being noticed or being different. Yeah, I was like, you know, Homer Simpson going in the brush. That's actually a picture of me. So, okay, all right. So, time tests. Raise your hand if you love time tests. Like, sometimes your brain will go that fast, and then there's days your brain won't go that fast. And what if that's the day you have a time test, and your brain's just not having a great day? So think about what's really important. Like the all your major scales and arpeggios, around the circle of fourths or fifths, I don't care, I'm not religious, in 5 minutes or less. Do we have to do that at one time? Could we do 3 a day, and the time adds up total to 5 minutes? Same time. Some kids do not have the neuroplasticity to attend with that kind of anxiety for that length of time. So think about what you're testing. Are you testing their ability to play their scales and arpeggios? Or you're testing their ability to play their scales and arpeggios in under 5 minutes in front of all their peers? What are you testing? There's a research avenue. All right. Oh, hello, Thunder. All right. Fine motor challenges. Many students who have differences in disabilities have fine motor challenges. They may not even know it. So it's fine motor challenges. There's pincer. Is my pincer gross friend here who I played with last night? That's okay. All right. Fine motor challenges or with writing. You can make a kid stay in for recess or whatever every day of elementary school. It's not going to make their handwriting any better. It's really not. Have you seen my writing? Okay. Okay. But think about, right, for students who have those difficulties. So think about, how about open strings on the ukulele, the guitar, the bass, using tapes so students know. There are chord buddies you can use for guitar and ukulele that help with students who have difficulties with fine motor. Oh, and again, the last thing a kid wants to do is for you to notice it in front of everybody else. Okay. The good stuff to know, meh. Bullying, how many of you had teachers who thought they saw all the bullying? How many of you had teachers who actually saw all the bullying? Right. We're going to miss it. So be sure that you have ways that you, avenues, right? A little box if somebody wants to put something they want to tell you in a box, but they don't want everybody to know, or something like that. Bullies, they did not just exist in 80s comedy movies. They're everywhere. So, most important things when you are successful, fabulous teachers, and I take credit for everything you ever did because I met you one time. Okay. Always consider the personhood and dignity of your students. Be the best person you can be that day, knowing, right, every day's different. Some days you're just a better person than others, and that's just how humans work. But try to be the best human you can be every day, especially when you have the best, most amazing job ever, which is teaching music. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't still be doing it. It really is the most amazing job. And it's a big responsibility because you're shaping those children and those students and those graduate students as you try to do whatever your best is every day. And every child's an individual. It's another one of my problems with labels. We're all different. I don't know how many people are in this room, but every one of us is different. And that's beautiful. So remember that every one of your students is their own person. So at the end of this, there's some ways that you can find me. I am easily found in the wild, yes. So I've got an email that is always open. I'm only looking at it when it's light outside, so if it's dark time, I'm asleep. You may email me anytime you would like, as many times as you would like, from now until forever, and I will email you back within 24 hours. If I don't, call the sheriff, ask him to do a wellness check, because something has happened. All right, so I'm on Facebook. If you use the dinosaur that is Facebook, I noticed some of you Instagrammed me, followed me, whatever that thing's called, last night. So thank you, appreciate it. And then I have a website. So anytime, between now and forever, I don't care how many years it is, say, hey, I met you in Miami. I have a student or I have a blah, blah, blah. Can you help me? I'm like, yes. I will always help you. Thank you so much for being here today. Unfortunately, it's 2:15. The worst part of the day for me is when I'm done teaching. So we've reached the worst part of the day for me. Have a great day. I'll miss you. Bye.